beginner riders and stuff, you know, there's some that get the bike and it's either I don't know, they don't get enough time to go out, or they're scared of riding the bike. I don't know. I don't know the exact reason, but they don't get the bike out as much. Like my R3, I'm ranking up fucking Ks on it, man, since I got it. I've been out like every weekend on the R3, just going for rides and stuff. I ride it during the week. It's pretty much my daily sort of thing to get around on. And so I just start ranking up the Ks on it. Not learner riders, like beginner riders or whatever. I say that you need to be on the bike and you need to experience things. Just keep getting out and experiencing stuff. Because the only way you learn is by doing it. Being out there, being on the bike. The more and more you're on your bike, the more and more you get to know your bike. Every bike is different. Just because I have an R3 doesn't mean every single R3 is the exact same. Like the tyre wear is different, the brakes may be different. You know, you get a fair few things that can be different on the bike. So just because it's an R3 doesn't mean they all feel the same. It's all about getting out, just experiencing this sort of stuff, and the more, don't you fucking go. The more and more you're out on the bike, the more and more you put yourself in different situations. Like I put myself in situations where I've been out when it started raining, I've been out in the cold, I've been out in the heat, been out and on some very, very sketchy roads. You know, I always push to improve myself, man. That's what I try to do. I always try and improve my riding. Me as a rider, I try and enter a corner differently. I try and change my braking a little bit. You know, I try holding gears and do that. Like even after years of riding bikes, I still push to improve myself. I always keep myself in check as well. And it doesn't matter what bike I'm riding on. Each bike's different, you know. I'm always striving, you know, to better myself, to improve my skills, to become better as a rider. It doesn't matter how many years you've been riding, you can still improve yourself. It's the day that you say you're too good and you know it all is the day that you stop learning. The people who don't take advice or don't listen to it and think that their shit don't stink, you know, are the ones that sort of shut themselves off. They see themselves as a 10 and they feel that they've got no more to learn, so fucking why bother? I know everything. Why listen to this guy, you know? But the ones that are willing to learn, like even, I just got a bug in the fucking kneecap. That hurt. It must have been a big bug. The ones that continue to strive and learn are the ones like even Valentino Rossi still listens to other people, man. Like he's a fucking good rider, dude. Same with Marc Marquez and all them, you know, they're good riders, but they still listen to other people's input. You look at Rossi as an example, like over the years, Rossi's riding style, how much it's fucking changed. How much his riding style has changed over the years. It's because you need to adapt. You know, the bikes now are all different. They've got different technologies and things along those lines. So you need to adapt your riding style. You know, like if you've got a bike with all these rider aids, like the R3 is pretty basic. It's got very basic ABS setup. A lot of the stuff on it's very basic, but it's very, very user friendly. So you're pretty good. When it comes to like the super sports and stuff, if you ride a super sport and you're more than comfortable riding it, for argument's sake, you've just got it and you want it in like D mode or whatever, where it's less power. Now, don't mock the rider just because they've got it in D mode. They're riding to their ability, and slowly but surely, if they're wanting to hold on to that bike and have that bike for a very long time, they will progress through the modes, and then you start turning assists off. You know, that's what you start doing. You start progressing. And you just start noticing things like, even though they're turning and they've got their indicators on and stuff, don't think that they're actually going to do it. You got to think that every rider, you got to think that like every fucking driver and everything's out to get you, dude. That's the best way the best thought process when you're on a bike. Because people may have their indicator on, they may not necessarily fucking turn, they may continue straight. That Commodore looks alright. They may continue straight. So just ride defensive. If you ride defensive, you're fine. And yeah, but me as a rider, me personally, I like improving my skills. That's how I am. I like going on different roads. I like testing myself. And you can't learn until you cross that line, so to speak. So touch wood, I've got no wood to touch apart from there's not one in my pants, and I can't touch my head. But you know, touch wood, I haven't dropped the R3, but I did all my learning, like a lot of my learning on dirt bikes, like serious amount of learning on dirt bikes, man. Even though I've done a lot of my learning and stuff with dirt bikes, riding road bikes are very different again. It's a different style. You're positioned different on the bikes, even the different bikes themselves. Like you can go from the nakeds to the super sports to the cruisers to all sorts of stuff. So it's all different riding styles, man. And you ride like a diverse, all these different types of bikes and everything. That's fucking awesome, man. Like you're learning different riding styles, and that's the way to be, in my personal opinion. I like being a real well-rounded rider. You know, that I'm not scared to ride in the rain. I'm not scared to ride in these conditions. I'm not scared if there's that much gravel or anything on the roads, you know, like I can ride within those conditions, because most accidents on bikes and everything in like unfamiliar conditions and stuff is because they're nervous as a rider in those situations, because they've never been in those situations. Now when it comes to like riding in the rain and all that sort of stuff, dude, like riding in the rain, I will do a full video on riding in the rain, and just I may use some of my rain footage and just do a like a narration over the top. But riding in the rain is, a lot of riders who don't like riding in the rain, I call them fair weather riders, right? There's nothing against that, there's nothing bad with that, but the problem with fair weather riders is when it rains, they're in the rain in the worst possible time. That P-plate is going to try and get across. He's accelerating, he's going to want to get across. See, told you. Reading drivers' body language or like position and stuff on the road, you just know what they're going to do. When you're in those situations, I've seen like guys with Ducatis and fucking super sports and all this shit, as soon as it rains, they refuse to ride the bike. They call someone up and they get the bike towed away. Why is that? It's because in those scenarios, they don't like riding in the rain. You know, they're very either sketched out about it or whatever. They may have even gone through an experience where they've crashed the bike in the rain. So what happens is they become fair weather riders, and they're only riding on the optimum perfect conditions. But the problem with the perfect conditions is it comes with a double-edged sword. If you're out in perfect conditions, it's really nice hot weather, and then it rains, the roads are as slippery. Oh, he's there. The roads are as slippery as fuck. People freak out in those situations, man. Like, it's not nice being on the roads in those situations. I'm telling you now, like, it's not too bad with the R3. It's still sketchy as shit. But the R3's got some good all-round tyres. Like, they're all-weather tyres. They disperse water really well. With riding in the rain, especially on a super sport, and if you've got like something like super courses and shit like that on your bike, it becomes very, very slippery. Like, because you've got no way to disperse the water. You're pretty much on fucking slicks, man. That's how you are. So it's slippery as fuck, and when it starts raining, I'll go into that on another video, but when it starts raining, initially raining, it's really slippery on the roads. I actually go right in depth with riding in the rain, because it's something that a lot of people do want to know about, you know? First time I ever actually rode in the rain was on a fucking dirt bike. You don't think that wasn't fucking scary as shit? You know, knobby tyres on the bitumen are bad on the best of days. Like, it's like driving a car with mud tyres. You've got a smaller patch in contact with the road. So having knobbies and stuff, with a road tyre, you got a small contact patch, but you've got grip pretty much the whole way around the tyre. When it comes to like dirt bikes, they got like these fucking little knobs and shit. And the knobs actually move as well. They flex. So the bike twitches and moves anyway. So I ride in those conditions and I try and improve myself as a rider as much as I can. If I'm going to end up doing track days and stuff, like that's something I do want to actually do, because you get to experience the high pace sort of action and do all that sort of stuff. But I try and ride very diverse and different bikes, different styles, you know.